Alright, hi guys. Here's a short tutorial on the student completion rules that Schoology has built in. Student completion rules are simply a way for you to almost self-pace students to work through things and not move on before they meet certain levels of mastery or have completed certain steps that you require. You're going to want to set up your content before you start looking at student completion rules, so make sure you have your units built ahead of this step. When I look at it here, and I'll look at Unit 1, I've got a unit built with 1, 2, 3 assignments and a page. This would be a folder that I could put student completion rules on. Now, if you can put completion rules on your folder organization, meaning if I added, and to do that I go to Options, if I did my student completion rules here, I'm at my top level, my folder level. So if I add a requirement here, then for my Unit 1 folder, I'm saying that they've got to complete any steps that I built into that Unit 1 folder. But it'll show up and say that, hey, a student has to complete Unit 1 before they move on to Unit 2. But we need Schoology to know when a unit is complete or when a folder is complete. So it's not enough to just put the student completion rules on the folder. We have to put it on what's inside of the folder. So to do that, I'm going to click and go into my folder so that I'm in my Unit 1 folder where I see the content that's built within there. And from here, if I go to my options and I do student completion, then it's going to pull up where I can add the requirements to all of my assignments or some of my assignments, and that's something that you'll want to create. In this example, I had 3 assignments and a page. Well, if I click in this drop-down menu, I see that I can add requirement completion rules for my first assignment, my research paper assignment, and my Google assignment. I cannot put completion requirement on my page because I have my page built inline, so it's visible, it's already turned on. If I had that set so that it was not visible, then I could add a requirement that a student had to click on it to open it up before they could continue past that point. Anyways, in the meantime here, I have 3 assignments I can add, so I can add 3 different requirements, 1 for each assignment. Now, it doesn't matter which order you set these in inside of this student completion tool, because it's going to base requirements one of 2 ways. Either that at some point the assignments have to meet this requirement, or if you check this box, it'll be required that it has to do it in the order, not the order that it's listed here, but the order that it's listed within the folder that students progress through. So if you are thinking of doing a self-paced type folder or unit, you can set it so they have to go in order. Then you can say for which assignment they have to do what. Now, if it's a discussion board, if it's an assignment, you can tell them that they've completed it simply by submitting it, simply by commenting on it, or a more common preferred way is to say that a student has to score at a certain amount on the assignment. When you do the score at least option, it's going to automatically pull the point value that you would assign with it, and you can tell them, hey, you have to score this amount to consider this completed. So if we're just going with our, let's just say they have to score over 50%, right? So we say they have to score at least a 10 before they can continue. Now you can set this to whatever level you want. If you want your students to get a C, you can set it at that point value. You can set these for everything. Maybe the research paper, you just need them to make a submission. And then for your Google assignment, maybe again they need to score at least, 75% before they can continue on. When you click Save Changes, you're going to see a few things added to your assignments. It's going to remind you what the completion rule is that a student has to accomplish before they can move on. If you set completion rules on items within a folder and you set it on the folder outside of it, that's where these completion rules kick in. So a student now, if I go into student view here, as a student comes in and looks at it, they're going to see, okay, I have to complete Unit 1, and you'll see I can't even click on Unit 2 as this student because I haven't met the progress rules of Unit 1. When they open up the Unit 1 folder, they can go in, but see they can't get to this second assignment because I said the order mattered. Had I not checked that box, they would be able to click and do any of these, but they wouldn't be able to move on from folder 1, unit 1 to unit 2 until all of them had been met. So you have complete control on how you do that. They can check their progress through where they're at. And the nice thing then, if I go back to my teacher view, is as you're watching and working on these things, if you want to check simple, quick progress, when you click your student progress view, you'll see any student that had completed or done things. Now, you will run into problems with this possibly if you're not structuring this fully and correctly. Some common things come up where, well, what if a student, is excused from an assignment? Like, how do I get them past some of these completion rules? You can always simply go into your grade book. And so let's say Delaney was a student that came late, and I don't need them to do the first sample assignment that I gave them. I can come in here and I can just flag them as excused. And then what that's going to do in terms of what I see and what they see, when I look at my unit 1 now and I check my student progress, you're going to see that because that assignment is excused, it jumps her past having to do that without affecting the gradebook. So you still have control on progress by how you flag certain assignments, or you can go in and manually score that assignment for her. And from their point of view, when they look at it, if something was excused so they could pass, when she comes into unit 1 now, she's going to see this is green checked. It's approved because it was excused. If she had submitted the work and scored high enough to pass on, she would see that score that, hey, you met the requirement and scored at least a 14 or whatever we set it as. So you have control on how you view that. You can set it up within a folder, or you can set it up from folder to folder. This is a good way to personalize pacing, but I would recommend not going too far into this because there is more management on the teacher side of it to make sure that students can progress through without getting caught up on something that is waiting to be graded on, or if they were absent from some work that was done in class. If you need any help with this, I will be running completion rules in both of my classes throughout the entirety of the year. So I'd be happy to help you figure this out if that's something you want. Fill out the help form on the Tiger Tech Schoology resource website, and I will get with you. All right, thanks, guys.